morning. Looks like good morning. I'm Mary. Pinky Mouse Sisters in the kitchen. Good morning, Michelle. Michael. Y'all might notice a little difference in the color. I still hadn't figured out what I'd done the other day. Good morning. I'm Mary, Pinky Mouse Sisters in the kitchen. Linda's not with me today, but we both told y'all during these holidays that we'll be cooking one day a week separate. Tomorrow we'll be together and Wednesday we'll be together. But we're doing that so y'all can get more recipes in, because 2 days a week, if you're trying to get some recipes in for the holidays, it's just not enough time to share our recipes with you. So we're doing 2 alone. Today it is raining and cold. It is 39 degrees, which is cold for us, and raining. It's a steady stream of rain. It's kind of peaceful though. I don't know, I've just been kind of singing to myself this morning. Everything is so peaceful this morning, and it's a good feeling, just everything to be peaceful in the rain. That kind of, in one way or the other, it kind of limits what is on my plate to do. It means I cannot work outside, so I can only work inside, and I don't really want to go anywhere because of the rain. So that makes it just easy thing to decide what I'm going to do, and it's going to be working the house, and that's probably going to be wrapping Christmas presents. It's a good day for that. Thank y'all for joining me, and I'm going to be making a red velvet cake. And what I'm going to do, I'm making the cake, and I'll make the icing, but then I will have to come back and dress it so that because a cake has to cool before we put this cream cheese frosting on it. So we're going to be doing the cake, and for the members page, I just looked at the recipe, and I said 3 9-inch pans. I forgot that I said that on the recipe, but you can use 8-inch, 9-inch, whatever size pans you want. And I'll tell you the reason I did that is because this is my Aunt Elsie's recipe for red velvet cake. It's in that's what she said, put it in 3 9-inch pans. And then this morning when I got my pans out, I got the 8-inch. So it doesn't matter, you can put it in whatever size pans you want. But I've already greased and put the parchment paper on 2 of the pans. Let's see, that's something. Anyway, but so I done one pan. I've already greased it. I greased it with Crisco, and so I'm going to show you. This is of the parchment cutouts that Linda gave me, and they are so much nicer than you trying to do them yourself. I put Crisco down on my pan, and then I put the parchment paper, and then these rounds, you know how I always cut the rounds out? These are to fit 8-inch pans, so they don't crinkle up. It's so nice. Then you just put these in here. Now, if you don't have parchment paper or parchment rounds, you just grease. Now, I grease in flour my pans. I know Linda only greases hers, but I grease and flour my pans if I don't put parchment paper on them. So, and that shortening, that grease on the sides of the pan, it makes it stick, makes the parchment paper stick. And then then you have to grease the top of that. You have to grease it twice. So now I'm going to go over all around the parchment paper. And I greased these this morning, and I think it's kind of dried a little bit. But I'm just going to grease it all around. You want it on the sides and the bottom. some. Anyway, I use a paper towel to grease so it won't get on so the shortening won't get on your hands. You know, that's what happens if you, when you're greasing your pans. And I'm slower than Linda. That's just me. So I'm hoping that I can get this all in time. Okay. All right, so we got that aside. I'm going to set that aside and put my shortening aside. I'm using my new mixer this morning for the first time. So I'm going to wipe my hands off. Got a little shortening on them. So I'm excited about using my mixer. I sure hope it don't mess up or something on it because I haven't used it. I'm going to move my this is the rounds. If y'all want to know where she gets these, it's JUVALE.com. Juvale.com if you want to order you some. Okay, now I'm using a cup of Crisco. This is Crisco, butter flavored Crisco. So I'm putting a cup of butter, a cup of Crisco, and a half a cup of butter. Now if you're using salted butter, you won't add no salt to this. If you're using unsalted butter, then you put salt. And on the recipe, I put unsalted butter. And when I got my butter out this morning, my frosting, I was using salted butter. So I accidentally got the salted butter out for my cake. But what I'll do is I will omit the salt when I'm putting my dry ingredients in. Okay, so that's my butter. And let's see here. I'm going to lift this up. And I'm creaming I'm going to cream my butter first. And we're sponsored by Imperial Sugar, so I'm going to cream that a little bit. I hope y'all can hear me. I just want to cream the butter and the shortening till it's light and fluffy, which takes a few minutes. Doesn't take a long time, but. And then I'm using 2 cups of Imperial fine sugar. Just add that slowly in there. And I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl because that butter and shortening, it comes up to the edge like any mixer does. I need a lower counter. I can't see very good. I've said 100 times that it'd be nice to have a counter. That's lower. You can see that extra fine sugar is kind of like powder whenever it's mixing because it's so fine. I guess it's normal. It sounds like the mixer's making the noise, but that may be what it's supposed to do. I'll get used to it. Get all that on the sides. We want all that to be mixed really well. I hope y'all are having a great day too, and the weather's not so bad. The weather is really not that bad. It's really not that bad. You just can't go outside and it's cold. Raining. I'm going to scrape the bowl, sides of the bowl down again. And then I'm going to add the eggs one at a time. Okay. I'm going to get me a paper towel. Put down on. I've tried not to use so many paper plates since paper products have gone up so high. Put an egg. I put 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. I'm going to have to ask Linda if that mixer is supposed to have that sound to it. I'm going to scrape down the sides again. You know, it just takes a while to mix up a cake, doing it in steps. Okay. Okay, and now I'm just going to mix up. I'm not ready to put this in there yet, but this is 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powders, baking soda. I can't remember if I used Aunt Elsie's recipe the last time that I made a red velvet cake or not. I just can't remember. Now this is where I would normally put a ½ teaspoon of salt, but that was salted butter, so I'm not putting the salt in there. So, and I'm just going to, with my measuring spoon, I'm just going to put that, incorporate that baking soda in with my flour. And I will add this in a few minutes. Okay. Now I'm going to put a teaspoon of cocoa powder in a glass bowl. When you're doing this, you need to use a glass bowl because red cake coloring stains. And now use a teaspoon of white vinegar. Well, I can't pour all that in there because I over poured it a little bit, so I'm not going to. Okay. Let me get a spoon. And then you put 2 1-ounce red coloring in this. And this is why Aunt Elsie said do it. I can't remember the last time I made a red velvet cake. So I can't tell you if this is a recipe I used or not. Because you know, I'm notorious of changing recipes, using different recipes. But I want to stir this up so that that cocoa powders is dissolved good. I don't know. I don't know why Aunt Elsie done it like this, but that's what her recipe said, and I'm going strictly by her recipe. So that vinegar, 2 bottles of red cake coloring, and 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder. Now I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to throw these bottles in the trash and get all this out of the way. Now I add this to my egg mixture. You have to add this slower, it'll just splatter everywhere. You see it's already splattering. I can be as cautious as I can. I should have my guard on this. This red color stains anything it hits. Well, I don't know why. I'm just spilling it. I'm just going to pour it in there. As you see, it got on my counter, and it does stain. I'll have to use some Comet or something to get it off. I'm going to brush it down on the sides. Okay. I hope everybody's having Christmas at different times. I know ours is not Christmas Day. It's going to be next, not this Saturday, but the next. All right, and while that's slowly, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla flavoring. This is some good vanilla. I think that we may still have some tempered shelf. Now I'm adding my flour and baking soda. I'm going to put my guard on there. Should have done this a while ago. And I might not have made a mess if I'd have done this a while ago. I alternate the flour mixture with buttermilk. I sifted my flour. That may be normal, but that motor just don't sound right to me. Maybe just because it's a new one, I'm not sure. Scrape down the side again. I can't read the comments as I go, but I'll find out from Linda if she thinks that motor is sounding like it's supposed to. I have one of our followers texted me and told me that they had this mixer on QVC and for a good price, and I got on the internet and ordered it. So I'm hoping it's okay. You always end the flour. I'm just putting a spoonful at a time in there. I preheated my oven to 350. Good thing I got that guard on there because it's still. Okay. I always have me some dishwater handy for me to use. I really get. I'll have to use them coming to get that off my counter. Okay, now I'm going to scrape down the sides one more time because that flour is still, some of it is still on the beaters. And then we got the red velvet cake made. Just put it in the pans. A little bit of my red coloring didn't get in the dough, so it's don't seem like it's as red as what I can remember, but it will turn a little darker than it does. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. Now this is new. This mixer is new, different from my other one. Oh, that's right. I have to take my bowl out first. Let me wipe my hands off again. Okay. All right. Now I can scrape my beaters. I always like to get all as much as possible off your beaters because that's we need it in our cake. I've made red velvet cakes before and they were darker than this, and I know it's because some of my red flavoring came out, but that's okay. You know. Friday night we had some of the two families from our church come over and sing for y'all, and Chuck had worked so hard on those Christmas lights out there in the yard, and then the dog. That's all we can figure out is that the dogs stepped on one of the bulbs and broke it. And you know how it is. One light. You know, it's no good, then it runs all the others. And the way Chuck has them hooked up, they all connected together. So, the 6 of the Christmas trees weren't lit up. And he was so disappointed. And you know what? I used to be a perfectionist, but I've learned in my older years that it doesn't matter that much. You know, you do your best, and then when it don't turn out, don't get too upset about it. Because there's really nothing you can do. And it was still pretty. All right, I'm going to get my pans here now and pour it in there. I don't measure. I just kind of eyeball it. So I just put some in each pan. And I'm going to spread it about. If you got 9-inch pans, it would be thinner. Your cake would be thinner, and with the 8-inch, they're going to be a little thicker. So, and I may not put all 3 layers on this. I may do something else with one of them. I don't know yet. Don't know what I'm going to do. I had my little bow scraper, but I think I've just about got as much as I can get out of there. I just got to get it off this spatula. I guess I'll get my bow scraper. I do like this little bow scraper. Just something about it. It fits the bowl, you know. Fits the, and it just really helps you to get it all out. I dropped a little there on the counter, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to put it in here. I'm just going to spread it around the edges. I'm gonna just kind of shake the pan in a few minutes. I don't want to. This one is a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna put some of it over in that one. You just want to spread it out to the sides. And used to, in all recipes, it would say, "Bang your pan on the counter," and Aunt Elsie said that in her recipe. I kind of got out of the habit of it, but it's just, I guess just more or less making it distribute all through the pan. Put that one in there. Okay. All right. I'm just going to shake it around a little bit and bang it around. Hit it on the counter. And these are Fat Daddy, I think they're called Fat Daddy pans, so they're real thick. So that's one reason that it looks like it's not much in it. I got my oven preheated. I'm gonna put them in. And I'm gonna, there's some I spilled on the counter I didn't want to put in the pan. Now, get this mess cleaned up, and then I'll show you what else I do. I'll have to clean this mixer up off the counter. I mean, I really made a mess with that red flavor, that red food coloring. You can put red gel. I just didn't have any, and it wouldn't be like that. And I think for the 2 bottles, if you're using gel, you'd probably use about maybe 2 or 3 teaspoons. And I'm estimating, I'm not sure about that, but that's just my guess. So I'll have to clean that off later. So now it's in the oven. Let me put the timer on. For 20 minutes. And then I'm going to put this in the trash. And in the meanwhile, I've already made it. But when the cake comes out, I cool it 5 minutes in the pan, and this is my simple syrup. This is a 1/2 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of sugar. And I let it come to a boil and turn it off. All you want to do is get it mixed up where the sugar has dissolved. You do not want to boil this other than just for a split second because you don't want it to be candy. So whenever the cake comes out of the oven, I wait 5 minutes, and then I will poke holes in it and spread that with the pastry blender. I mean a pastry spreader. And not a pastry, it's a well, I guess it is called a pastry blender. Anyway, spreader. And I say I did put the flavoring in, because I'm I'm going back to my calendar to see, making sure I put everything in there. Anyway, I was thinking about that we're going to, all of us, everyone that is going to have family at their house, whether it's at Christmas or any time during the holidays, there's always some members of the family that you don't see that often. Maybe you don't have a lot in common, but I just like to tell you what the Lord impressed me on a situation at one time in my life. Whenever you know a person that has differences from you and y'all don't exactly agree on everything, this is what, it was in one of my Sunday school lessons, that take the knowledge that you have about this situation and use wisdom. That is the key, is using wisdom on how you handle that situation, but with the knowledge that you know. So you don't want to agitate somebody when you know that's going to bother them. So that's just a little tidbit I wanted to tell y'all this morning, to use wisdom with the knowledge that you have. So that might save a few heartaches, a few disagreements, or whatever. But that is just a little tidbit that I wanted to give y'all this morning. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wash my beaters. I don't have any help this morning. I did talk to Linda, and I have talked to her, and I have talked to, as a matter of fact, I've talked to my sister, I've talked to little Linda, and I've talked to Carla. Carla is monitoring our videos, trying to keep them people off that wants to friend everybody, wants to friend the ladies. Little Linda is much better this morning. She sounded real good and upbeat. So I'm just thanking the Lord for that. And my sister, she's good too. I sure do. I had it on my hand and I got it on my apron. Oh well, that's okay. I told you that I'm, I guess you call me the messy one. That's what some people says, but I can't. It's hard for me to talk and work. It just is. So I do make messes. I think I'm going to go ahead and wash my bowl so I can go ahead and make the frosting so it can be getting chilled, so I can put it on the cake later. Just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to wash this real fast. I should have got my other mixer out, my other one, but first of all, I'm going to let some hot water run in that. I'm sure a lot of you are preparing this week and getting ready for Christmas. This week I'm doing the final gift wrapping that I have to do, and then next week is when I will start doing my baking. I know Linda, she's been baking for 2 weeks now, but I just can't bake until I get everything else done. I used to be more particular, like I told you earlier, than I am now. But there's just so much I can do. I have problems with my back. I'm trying to get my water hot. My water's not hot like Linda's. Right out of it takes a few minutes for it to get hot. And Linda's water. Mike has it turned up till it's like boiling when it comes out of the faucet, out of the. So, but mine's not. So I'm letting it run. I want really good hot water to wash that pan with. Let me put some soap in it. I started not do the frosting on air, but I said, no, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you because I want it to get cool. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it get cool while the cake is cooling. So it won't take long for the cake to cool, and I can come back on and just icing it. And that's what I call it anyway. I'm going to wash this real quick. I know y'all don't want to see me wash dishes, so I'm going to do this really fast. It won't take long. I have two mixers that I could have got the other one out, but I was kind of wanting to use my new mixer, so that's why that I didn't get my other one out. So I just got it washed, and now right, I'm using the same mixer and bowl to do my frosting. And I'll show you. Now, Aunt Elsie, her recipe for the icing, she uses the pecans and the coconut, and she uses that kind of frosting to go on her red velvet cake, just like the German chocolate cake. That's the kind of frosting she puts on her red velvet cake. But I don't. I wanted to put cream cheese because we're going to have so much things with pecans in it. I didn't want to use that as a frosting. So that's why okay. I got it clean. Let me wipe my beater off. Make sure my mixer don't have red on it. I want white frosting, you know. And now I'll turn it over so you can see what I'm doing. Putting my, this is new to me. I hope I can get it back on here like I'm supposed to. I think, let's see here. It has, I guess I'm going to have to see what I'm doing here. Lift it up. Oh, Lord. I'm not very... There's two places this thing has to connect to. It's at the back. The back of it connects too. But it don't connect automatically. And I don't know if that's a default or what, but it just doesn't connect. There we go. I have to push it in there. That may be normal. That's something else I got to ask Linda about. Okay. All right. Now, this is Imperial powdered sugar. I've already sifted this. I'm using the entire bag of 32 ounce, which is 4 cups. And I'll let's see here. I'll measure it, but I'm going to go ahead and measure it again, but I've sifted this. So, first of all, I'm going to put, getting ahead of myself a little bit. I've got 2 8-ounce bars of cream cheese. Let me move this out of the way. In there. This is the cream cheese. I've got it room temperature. spatula and get some more of that off. You know, we scrape it. I see a lot of people who don't, and they leave a teaspoon or tablespoon of ingredients on their, still in the wrapper, but I'm not. Again, this is Imperial, and it calls for 2 8-ounce cream cheeses and 2 sticks of butter, all 1 cup. This is salted butter, and I have it at room temperature. So, and I'm going to whip it a little bit to get it. When Linda's making her cakes, it just seems so easy. It seems like she just does it so easy. And it really, it's not hard. And I don't even think it's hard for me, except for when I'm doing it on camera. Okay. Apparently I didn't have it up good. Didn't lock it. When I put that powdered sugar in there. It makes a pretty Christmas cake. There's some people that don't care for the red velvet cake, but I really like it around Christmas time. Scrape down the sides again. Then I'm going to add the powdered sugar. And I did sift my powdered sugar because I don't know if it's a humidity or what, but my powdered sugar seems to have lumps in it. I mean, they dissolve eventually. But I just I'm not really measuring this as I go because I know about how much that wasn't quite 2 cups because I wasn't measuring it, but I guess I will measure it from here on out so y'all can know. It sounds like that motor has got a squeaky sound to it. I hate to just keep saying something about it, but you know, I just bought this thing. Scrape down the sides again. And I'm going to use clear vanilla because I want my frosting to be white. Well, it's not white like egg whites, but it's creamy, and I don't want it to get dark. So I'm going to use and I'm not even going to measure it. It's 2 teaspoons with this amount of powdered sugar and cream cheese. So this back on there, and I put not quite 3 because those first 2 I put in there. I can tell you, I have put 4 or 5. I didn't forgot how many I put in here, but I can tell by the consistency that I've got to put some more in here. So I know this was the whole bag, that whole 32 ounce of powdered sugar. So I'm gonna put some more in it. It may take the whole 2-pound bag. It might and it might not. I don't, but I'm gonna put some more in it because it's got to be the right consistency. I'm going to use this whole 2-pound bag. So if you however many cups that is a 2-pound bag. That's what you need. Now I'm going to get this out of the way and wipe my counter up. Make no difference how hard I tried to get that powdered sugar not to come out. Scrape down the sides one more time, and that consistency is perfect. So it takes a 2-pound bag for this much frosting. I wanted a lot of frosting because I wanted it thick. I didn't want a little thin layer. I'll show y'all. Get a little closer to the camera. There's my buzzard going off for my cake. I thought it would probably be about right. Let's see here. I can tell you right now that cake is not done. I've got to cook that cake a little bit longer. So I'm going to cook it. I'm going to put the timer for 5 more minutes. I'm going to cook it 5 more minutes. Let me show you the icing, the frosting. I'll show you. Get this off. All right, there we go. I'll show you the consistency. If I can get that paper towel unstuck. See? See, that's what you want. You don't want it thin. So, it's going to make a delicious cake. But the cake probably likes about 5 more minutes being done. And then I'll take it out and put that simple syrup on it and then let it cool. Okay, I think I've got about all I can off of this. I've got plenty. I just don't like to waste it. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. And that's the frosting. But I'm going to have to let my cake cool before I can add it. So I'm going to just scoot that over a little bit. I have to move that very carefully because it's so heavy. But I'm going to get the cakes out of the oven. And I put them on these cooling racks and I let them cool in the pan for 5 minutes. I'm gonna put this over here. I cool them for 5 minutes and then I turn them over and put them on the cooling rack and put that simple syrup on them and let them completely cool before I frost it. So give the cake a few more minutes and what I poke holes in the cake with is my cake tester. It's tiny. You don't want big old holes. I do it with the cake tester, and then I take that simple syrup and use my pastry blender and put it on them. Put that simple syrup on it, and it goes down into that cake while it's warm, and then it keeps it moist, and it makes a big difference. So, you know, you have cakes that's not. I was wrapping presents here this morning, and you have cakes that are dry. I even made one time not very long ago, and what I done was I had some business to take care of at the church. I took my cake out of the oven, I put it on the cooling, I cooled it for 5 minutes, and then I put it on the racks. And instead of putting my simple syrup on there, then when I got back, my cake was cold, and the simple syrup just does not do as well as whenever the cake is cold. It just doesn't blend in. So the cake needs to be warm when you put the simple syrup on it. So let's see. Just about let me. I'm gonna test it with my cake tester. You know, you just can't cook a cake just 30 minutes. You have to. Let me get my tester out. It's not done. When your tester comes out with cake on it, that means the cake is not done. I may have to wait and show you all this whenever I start to icing it. I may have to skip the part of putting the simple syrup on there. because I've been on here for so long already. I think what I'll do, I'll let you know how long I had to cook the cake. I'm gonna put another 5 minutes on there. Well, I can't even do my own timer. I'm gonna go ahead and get off. When the cake gets done, I'm going to cool it on the racks, put my simple syrup on it. When it completely cools, then I will come back and I will frost it. So I appreciate y'all hanging with me. And I hope that whatever type of weather you have in your area, that you are safe and you don't get out unless you have to, if it's bad weather, raining or cold or whatever. So I will be back in, it would be at least an hour, maybe a little longer, because I want my cake to be completely cool, because that cream cheese and butter in that cream cheese frosting, it will just slide. It will not stick to the cake. So it has to be completely cool. So I'll jump back on a little bit later. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. And how do I keep the cake fresh? When this cake gets completely done and I frost it, I'm going to put it into an airtight container, and I'm going to wrap the container, the cake in the container, and I wrap it with saran wrap. Just wrap it and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it, and then I'm going to freeze it. You can freeze the whole cake, and then whenever on Friday before our dinner on Saturday, I will take that cake out and let it thaw out. And it'd be just as good and fresh as if I cooked it the day before. But you have to wrap it good. I'm wrapping it in the container, in the cake container with the lid and everything. And wrap it in saran wrap, and that's how you keep it fresh. And you do that with any cake that you're cooking. Unless it's a bundt cake and you don't have frosting on it, you can just wrap it with saran wrap, and just over and over and over again. But if it's a cake that's got frosting, you can even do this with that 7-minute frosting. You can even do this with a cream pie. You can make your pies ahead of time. The meringue stays just as fresh. If you put it in a container and wrap it in saran wrap and put it in the freezer, you can do that. You can pull your pie out the day before or either the morning of, because it don't take long for a cream pie to thaw out. I know this because we have done it at the church, and there's that meringue stays just as fluff and just as good as if you just made it. So yes, you can freeze cream pies ahead of time. You sure can. And matter of fact, I'm going to do it because I have so much to do that day until I'm freezing as much as I can and bring it out and on my sweets. So thank y'all. That's the only question I think that I see on there now. But thank y'all for hanging with me, and I'll be back as soon as that gets done. And don't forget to count your blessings. And if you've got a group of people coming to your house, if you've got someone that you have a little bit of a rip with, not nothing serious or anything, just use wisdom with the knowledge that you have about that person, and then everything will work out for the best. Love y'all. Count your blessings. Bye-bye.